I'm FDP. So now let's see. So now you didn't start with me. Then
A very good afternoon to all the participants of today's program. Welcome back. Learning never exhausts the mind. With this, welcome back to the day 4 of the national level 5 days faculty development program on emerging trends in technology future perspective. Today we are on the interesting topic that is related to history, relevance of history in contemporary times. So to deliberate on this theme, we have an eminent speaker amongst us, Dr. S.K. Aruni, Regional Director, Indian Council of Historical Research, Bangalore. Sir, welcome for this session. So to give a formal welcome, I request Ms. Habiba, HOD of History, to propose welcome August gathering participants and the guests.
Quality education is the need of the day as it leads to the development of intellectual skills and knowledge. Honorable participants of today's program, a pleasant afternoon. By praising Almighty and seeking His blessings, let us begin today's program. I, Miss Saida Aisha Siddiqa from the Department of History, welcome you all for the fourth day of our 5-day online national level FDP on emerging trends in technology, future perspective. With today's new theme, relevance of history in contemporary times. To highlight on this, we have an eminent speaker to deliberate on today's theme, Dr. Aruni, Regional Director, Indian Council of Historical Research, ICHR, Bengaluru. Sir has 22 years of service in research and administration in ICHR. Sir, on behalf of college and on my own behalf, I welcome you, sir. Now, I am feeling extremely honored to welcome our dynamic degree principal, Professor Zubeda Begum. I also welcome our humble vice principal, Professor Sabiha Zubair Khan. Next, I heartily welcome our IQSE coordinator, Dr. MS Vidya. I also welcome our dedicated staff secretary and HOD of Commerce, Dr. Saida Tabassum. Now, I would like to welcome our program coordinator and HOD of Computer Science, Professor Noor Aisha. Last but not the least, I wholeheartedly welcome to the heads of various departments and faculty. Once again, I welcome you all. Now, over to the speaker.
So you can start the session, start your deliberation. You can unmute at your end.
Can you hear me, madam?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
Okay. Thank you, madam. I want to share the screen, madam. I have my PPT.
Yeah, I have given the option, sir. You can do. You can share the screen.
Okay. Somebody has already shared some screen, madam. Can
Sir, this is my from the host side.
Okay.
You can just share the screen from your end, sir.
Yes, madam. Can you see this screen, madam?
A second, sir. It's being sharing. So can you start sharing again? It's not yet shared.
Not sharing, madam?
No, sir.
Now, madam?
No, sir.
Now?
We cannot see the screen. We just stop sharing and share again, sir.
Okay. Now, madam?
So we can just see you have started sharing screen. So your screen is black color. Can you just move to the next slide?
Okay. Next one. Can you see the slides, madam?
No, sir. We can just see the screen of yours. That is black color. That's nothing is there.
Okay, 1 second. Madam. I'll restart. 1 second.
No, sir. There is no need to restart.
Now it's coming, madam?
Yes, sir. Now it's coming. It's coming, sir.
Is it full screen, madam?
Press F5 from your laptop, sir. F5 function key from your laptop.
Madam, you are muted.
Sorry, sir. You are audible, sir, to us.
Okay. I'll start, madam. Okay, madam. Good afternoon. Good afternoon. I would like to thank organizers and authority of the Abbas Khan College for women for inviting me to and also allowing me to participate in this 5-day FDP program. I'm also glad that eminent experts have been invited to the program. I congratulate the principal, Madam Dr. Zubeda Begum, for holding this program successfully, and also thank the Dr. Vidya Madam and Zubaira Ahmad for their invitations. I have been given a chance to discuss with you on the topic which is related to history, the relevance of history in contemporary times. This is my topic. Today I will be discussing with you. In this my lecture, I have made two important subtopics. In the beginning, I will be discussing about the history and its relevance, and also it is a philosophical, methodological aspects. And then the second part, I will be focusing on how the application of history is applied to the human history of the region of the Bangalore area. So I'll be taking to you with the PPT. Basically, I will discuss on the various aspects of the so-called Bangalore history. That is my second part of it. So I would like to begin with the history. All of us, or those who are well versed with the history subject, those who are teachers of history, I think they are all well versed with the meaning and etymology and other details. Although I will just mention that one or two aspects of the history, etymology. The word history is derived from the Greek word, that is historia, meaning historia is the meaning of the investigation or inquiry. Or you mentioned that, any investigation is called history, or inquiry is also called historia. That is a Greek word. Historia is actually the origin of the name of the word of the history. Today we have extensively used in various parts of our society. Even you go to the medical, they will ask you what is the history of medical history. They will ask you, if you go to any other subject department, they will first ask the history. History is the background of any aspect of it. So that is the standard, the investigation, which is an inquiry, that is unknown in the Greek word. History is the knowledge of past. Usually all of us, we know that history is the knowledge of past, and it acquires evidence-based events. It's not just past knowledge, it's also based on the events or acquired of the evidences. Evidences are mere basic phenomena of any historical subjects. History is the data, is what you call data in contemporary computer world. History is basically
Excuse
data
me, sir.
and existing evidence of what.
Excuse me, sir.
Yes, madam.
Sir, your slides aren't
Okay, madam.
moving. Are you moving the slides, sir?
What happened, madam? Slides are not moving, madam.
Yeah.
What you are looking at?
We are still in the first slide.
Oh, not in the. Now, can you see any new image, madam?
No, sir.
Now?
No.
Now, madam?
Just move to the next one, sir.
1 second. Now, madam?
Now it's moving.
Moving, no, madam? Okay.
Yeah, it's moving, sir, now. Sir, just
Okay,
press F5 key from your keyboard, sir. F5 function key. F5.
That is only the FY
Function key.
3. 3. Now it is a brighting. Bright is increasing. That's all, madam.
Okay. Okay, sir, you can continue.
Okay.
Yeah.
Okay, I'll repeat what I said. History is a data, the existing evidence of what happened in the past. Whatever the past, old ones are the data, which is the old data is called as also history. This is how we could see in our, 1 second, I'll just. Yes, some problem. Can you see the slides, madam?
Yes, sir, we can see, sir.
Okay. So just to show that 1 or 2 images, history is known as a product of knowledge. History is a product, basically it's a product of knowledge. Whatever we have, ancient, medieval, modern, or any knowledge which is acquired is also called, basically it's based on the history. If we get the information about the some, last year annual report, that's also is a part of the historical data, and also it is also part of the history. So it's a basically product of knowledge. It is also in Indian context. In India, in Sanskrit, it's called, it is known as a Itihasa, Charitre, Gatha, etc. in Indian writings, and Khabar or Tariq, they are used in the Arabic languages. They are all related to history. So the product of knowledge has many forms of like science, arts, and social sciences. History itself is an enterprising of knowledge. History acquires an important place because other enterprises of knowledge like science or philosophy also constitute subject of the master. So most of that's why they call it history is a mother of all subjects. So you mention any subject, there will always with the history associated with that. So that's why it's very important for any history students about the history, how it is used, or various kinds of history is also very important. A scholar, Bernard Lewis, he claims there are 3 kinds of history. This is a very interesting topic which I would like to share with you. Bernard Lewis claimed that there are 3 kinds of history have been existed. One is remembered history, second one is recovered history, third one is invented history. So these 3 are relevant at present or in Indian in contemporary times. Nowadays, contemporary times, we are facing a lot of challenges for historians and history students. Every day we encounter many new evidences or new claims, new existence of the history or historical details. So we are amazed to see new data, new evidences. Again, we are amazed to misunderstand the interpretation of the history. So we are in the contemporary period. We are facing a large number of challenges, particularly in India. We have witnessed this kind of things. So I'll just go back to the 3 important kinds of history claimed by Bernard Lewis, how it's relevant to our present contemporary history. So this will be very interesting for us understanding. Now, one is remembered history. Remembered history is basically the knowledge or collect memory of the group or community or a nation about what is the significance. For example, 1857 is a very significant event and important community movement which occurred in 19th century. 1857 revolts that we had been remembered, and we have collected those called remembered history. Remembered history is preserved in the commemorative ceremonies. They are available. They are found in the various scriptures, inscriptions. They are sometimes we found in the On the based on the monuments, we can identify. There are many biographies, epics, chronicles, ballads. Those will be recording of the our history, that is called remembered history, can be traced from the these sources are there. So second one is recovered history. This is a very interesting. Recovered history is the event and movements, persons and ideas that academics recover what has been rejected by the collective memory. For example, the history of the 1857 has been written based on the various diaries, various archival sources, various memories, various historical documents. Simultaneously, there are always so many people, those who are also, not much, because for an example, women is not projected in history many of the times, or very marginalized history will be written, or there will be some community or some tribes, they had participated but they have no records of their participations, but they were sidelined. Those sidelined history, they have to, it is recovered and it is written as a in the as a history. It's called recovered history. So this is a marginalized, what you call, marginalized people's history, which is recovered from the various sources. And this is a second part of the claims which is Bernard Lewis made. Third one is invented history. Invented history is written for purpose. It is written for particular purpose. Such a history can be interpreted out of remembered or recovered history, or it can be also fabricated. Many times it is invented history, is fabricated history. Sometimes it is a commissioned history, what you call commissioned history. Somebody will pay for us and the history will be written according to his will and wish. So that is called sometimes invented history or fabricated history. The invention of history has been going in since long time. Invented history borders the propaganda. Many times it is always makes propaganda. So this is the idea relevance. The in recent years, relevance of the history is going on like this. So this is how we see that there will be three way of writing of history, kinds of history. One is remembered history, recovered history, and the third one is invented history. Invented history is the borders propaganda. It is also one of the forms of the professional historians usually avoid. Usually the serious historians, they don't advise or endorse this kind of writing history. So sorry, I just skipped another one. There are many schools of thoughts, which is many attempt have been made to understand the Indian history. Thereafter, tradition of Indian history writing continues similar pattern. One is called Eurocentric history, nationalistic history, Marxist history, annals school, subaltern school. There are various schools of thoughts have been applied to the writing of the Indian history. So these are the major thoughts which is which is used by the scholars or historians in our contemporary. I just make one important attempt that Romira Thafar in her publications further some important questions to the students of history. The one is since history is an essential component of a nation building, the question often discussed in recent times is whether a nation can have many versions of history. This is a very interesting subject. Dr. Romira Thafar makes it in her recent books. Of course, various versions. Usually, we get versions of the history, because history is not one version. History has many versions. If the person who writes history, that's more important. The writer is more important than the historian who writes the history. What kind of sources he uses, based on his background, the history which is written can be judged. Similarly, The second one is she makes the another important point, how an event is seen can vary according to the perspective of the viewer and the purpose for which is being viewed. So this is a it is a link to this first one. This is a second point which is very important to us. So like that, the history and historians has to be very careful while making the history, because history is the one subject which is a in recent years many people, the amateur historians and casual historians, those are actually entered to the history subjects, and they have make a very not very depth study and shallow study. They have no approach many times and make a confusion in the society. So the professional historians usually avoid those the invented history. That's what I mean it here. So the history is a subject nowadays is a very become a very important aspect in the society. People look at history as a very important source for the uniting people as well as the dividing people. So one has to be very careful in these recent days, because the history can divide the entire society, or it can also unite our nation. So that's so using of history is very cautious method. One has to take very cautious cautions while using the history of this. So with this I'll move to the second part of it. I would like to mention that take the second part of my lecture is the traces of human history, with a special reference to Bangalore. How the human history can be traced from the ancient to the modern in Bangalore. Bangalore is known to us as a modern city. Of course, was there a human beings much lakhs and lakhs years back lived in this Bangalore area, or how he was living and how the his civilization emerged and evolution could be traced. These are the questions which is many students they come keep questioning in this area. Or only the Bangalore has emerged as a modern city. Of course, there are very various evidences to show that old as a prehistoric man, ape kind of man was living in Bangalore area. He was also using the stones, hunting the animals, living with the bare bodies. Such evidences are found in Bangalore area. I'll just take one or two examples here to show that how the evolution of man and evolution of civilization and come to the urbanization uh, can be traced in Bangalore area. This will be then my next session. Next part of my lecture. I'll be taking to you with some of the important slides there. So Bangalore is the interestingly, Bangalore is the place where we think says that everybody knows that it's located on a very high altitude. That is a 949 meter on the hills, very high at latitude of the area. It is a part of the Mysore plateau, on the edge of the Mysore plateau, and also part of the Nilgiri area. And interestingly, there are two rivers near to the Bangalore. That's one is Arkavati, second one is Pala. So present Bangalore city combines the 400 villages, nearly 400 villages. It combines, and it is both western and eastern monsoons we receive there. The region has several sub-valleys. The perennial water sources are also found in this area. Interestingly, okay, this is the valley. It's called Arkavati Valley and Dakshin Pinakini Valley. So the Arkavati comes from the Nandi Hills and it runs through Dodballapur, present Dodballapur area, and then it passes through the Magadi area, and then it enters to the Kanakagiri area, and then finally it joins the Kaveri River. So it's a very large, river. On the bank of the Arkavati, Bangalore is located. On the other side is the Pinakini. This also rises from the Nandi Hills, then the Devanalli, then the Yalanka, then it enters to the Scotty area, then it goes to the Tamil Nadu, then it finally enters the Bay of Bengal. So this is the river system of Bangalore, and these are the area. This is the landscape of Bangalore. How it it's a hilly and river, small river, streams, hills, surrounding area. It actually gave a lot of scope for the human beings to settle there, and a large number of caves, also natural caves, are found around Bangalore. Ramagiri, even Nandi, even Beddaspura, even in many places, Banarighatta, you get a large number of natural caves. Once they were occupied by the human beings, they were resided by those people, and now number of small streams will also supported those settlements there in the in prehistoric period. So there are large number of antiquities have been documented by scholars, and such stones were used in this area, and composite Jalahalli, many places Tarabanalli, and Chikjala. There are many places which the stone tools were been recovered, and these have been identified that ancient human beings or ancient man was living in this area with the stones, using as a tools for the hunting his animals. So these are the good evidence to show that it's nearby Jalali, is at Jalali Air Force area, but now due to the large urban extension, urban layouts, so most of the prehistoric sites have been already, we have lost them, but however, those old records will help us to trace the evidences of that. So this is how the landscape could have been there. People were, the cattle keepers were there. They were continue to domesticate animals, and such animals help them to settle there. And this is from the Jadigenehalli near Vaskote, where the human body was buried with his utensils, his plates or some pots. Along with him, they were buried. This is a Jadigenehalli near Vaskote Taluk. It's near Malur, on the way to Malur area. Malur Road. So this is the kind of a coffin made up of mud. That is a pot. Sarcophagus, we call it in archaeological point of terminology. Sarcophagus is of burnt mud, and along with that, the pots and whatever utensils of that persons, they buried along with it. This is found in Jadigenehalli on the Malur Road. So there are, how the people were, with the invention of agriculture, people were started living with the bullocks and, flogging and, sowing, and also agriculture came up, and community slowly, the people, they emerged in this area. We have very, very good evidence to show that the pots of high technology, black and red were found at Ittikabelu, near Savandurga, near Jadigenehalli, near various places, Managondanalli, Bangalore surrounding area is full of prehistoric sites. Even in the Lalbagh itself, there was also a prehistoric site which was noticed in the 1940s, so reported in the Mysore archaeological reports. So such reports found in everywhere. Unfortunately, those are not well, preserved. Sites are not preserved. Hence, it is difficult to trace the history of the prehistory of this Bangalore area. However, whatever the reported or whatever collected, those are the enough for to reconstruct the architecture of this Bangalore region. There are places which is burials are there in and around Bangalore. This is nearby Savandurga. The stone capstones with the circular burials were found, and there are also the burials are found at the various places. It's Chitradurga, and this is from again from Ittika Belur near Savandurga. Just to show, these are the Roman coins which was recovered from the old airport area. Roman coins, once it's found, it proved that the area was well connected with the trade in the early historical period, that is around 3000 2500 2300 years back. So such a connections, interconnection and outside sea trades were conducted. Even Bangalore has witnessed the sea trade activities. So this is how we could understand the antiquity of the Bangalore area. And this is how they emerged. People, the various professional peoples, they emerged in this area. Transport and craftsmen. Many people started, and trade activities began. So such developments could be seen in this area. Pot making and carpentering. So such communities, once they emerged, automatically the state formation starts. The rulers began in this area. The earliest evidence of kings and others, we can even still we can trace them. So this is how the history of early history we can see. But after the we have very clear idea about the foundation of Bangalore by Nada Prabhu Kempegoda 1537 onwards, and it served for interestingly, Kempegoda's he found the Bangalore as a capital city, and it became a capital city for 1 century, from 1537 to 1638, until the Adil Shahis take over. But it remained as a capital city of the Nada Prabhus, and during that period, we have various number of temples and various structures still remain. The fort was also constructed in this period. So just briefly, the history of the Bangalore area. After in 1638, Bijapur army led Ranadala Khan seized this Bangalore city and conquered it. City annexed to the Bijapur, and for a period of 50 years, it became a part of the Jagir of the Shivaji's father, Shahji, and it became the Jagir land. Malleshwaram has the temple which has a Maratha inscription. It mentions about the Maratha existence. After the defeat of Bijapur Sultans, Mughals hold the city for some time. Fauzdar was appointed and a mosque was built in the city. Mughals leased the city Mysore to the Mysore Wadiars in 1687. The Wadiars granted the city as a Jagir to Hyder Ali. From that onwards, the city began to emerge as a commercial city. Tipu Sultan enlarged the city and ruled from this place. He built the palace here. Just to briefly, the history, I just mentioned that. Just to interestingly, the Bangalore has a very interesting story. The rocket was launched according to the sources. Not only in India, even internationally, the first rocket was launched or invented and launched, that is at Bangalore. So during the Tipu Sultan's period. So that's why it's very interesting for us to understand the entire history of Bangalore. So I just skip some of them, and Bangalore history, all of us we know. Somehow the 19th century is very interesting for us. Bangalore comprised not only a single town but central is after the British came here, they founded the cantonment here. And after the cantonment of Bangalore, Bangalore became a very important town of the British period, British Empire, and it became the Bangalore became a westernized in a culture. So that's why we could see the Bangalore as a cosmopolitan city much before any other cities. This is how it is a very interesting for us. In the Basangudi and Malleshwaram, they were simultaneously were laid out in 1880s, 1890s actually. It is they were laid for the wide roads and well planned, that can be seen in our interestingly, Bangalore has another important aspect is the European architectural traditions are found here. After third Anglo-Mysore War in 1791, Bangalore began to receive political and economic contacts with the Europeans, particularly with the British. British cantonment was established 1809 on the eastern part of the Bangalore old city. Cantonment began to grow rapidly. The commissioner ruled for 50 years. That's a very important aspect of Bangalore history. You know, Marathas, Adil Shahis and Marathas 50 years. Similarly, commissioner ruled for 50 years. So these important periods actually brought the new ideas to the city. Commissioner rule brought the large number of activities, particularly public buildings, public spaces they were built. It brought to the European architecture to the Bangalore city. Whatever we see today's churches, large number of administrative buildings like Atara Kacheri or High Court, Museum, Mayo Hall, and various places. They have got the very important European architecture. They are Gothic architecture, Georgian architecture, Victorian architecture, Neo-Roman styles. All architectural elements are found in Bangalore. That's how it's very interesting to see Bangalore is a mixture of various the cultural zones. I just now I'll just one or two places, important places. I'll just show them. To begin with, Begur, I'll just show you. Begur is one important, very neighbor of the Bangalore is the Begur, where the Bangalore, the name of the Bangalore is inscribed in the place called Begur, where the inscriptions mentions about the Battle of Bengaluru, it is called, and from that onwards, we can easily trace that the name of the old name of Bangalore is much older than the what we call Bendakaluru. Bendakaluru is the myth actually. That is how the history has to be very rechecked with the many evidences. Once we have the story of the myth of the Bangalore Bendakaluru, or the city of boiled beans. So there are also inscriptions which refers to the place called Bengaluru in the 9th century, 890, 890, the date of the inscription. But people still we believe that it's the Bangalore, the derivation of the name of the Bangalore come from the boiled beans. So it is not true that there was a place called Bengaluru, which is mentioned in the 890 inscription in Begur. So that the Begur has a very interesting cases of temples. Some forts is also there. Very interestingly, I'll just show one or two important. This is the inscription which refers to the place called Bengaluru, which is in those who are well versed in Kannada, they can read the red underlined word Bengaluru. So this is how the reference to the old name is referred to the inscription in this, which is available in still anybody can go and read the inscription which is in the Nageshwara temple in the Begur. So this is another classic hero stone. which was in Begur. Now it is in Bangalore Museum. Once it was in Begur, and it is a battle scene of the uh, both Nolamba kings as well as Ganga kings. So the two family kings are fighting for the one particular battle, and in the battle the entire scene is found in this, and they talks about the hero who died in this battle. So there are very beautiful temples. There are 5 temples in one complex. Nageshwara, it is called Nageshwara temple. So this is the typical 9th century Ganga period in temples, which is a very interesting for a architectural history of this area. The Dravida style of architecture, built in stone, not in brick, built in stone, which is very important in the Indian temple architecture. This is the oldest temple around Bangalore area. Bangalore city does not have, but surrounding area like Begur and Nandi, they have 9th century temples of the Ganga period. So one can see in this Begur area. This is a new photo. Inside the temple, you can see typical Ganga period temple pillars. Very elegantly they carved the temples. This is the aerial photography of the fort of the Begur. Begur fort is a circular plan. Very interesting, small fort, but it's not that old. Everybody thinks that this is the Chola period. It's not Chola period fort. It is a 17th century local, chieftains fort, which was built with the mud and stones. Now only mud is remained, stones have been quarried. So this is still, found in the Begur, on the corner of the Begur village. And this is the fort of the Begur. You can see the entrance, built with the stones, and the mud walls are there. So now still the fort can be seen there. This is the entrance to the fort, and this is the Nandi. The similar temples like Begur, we have other side of the city, Bangalore, that is Nandi Hills. Near Nandi Hills, they call Bhogarandeshwar temple is there. This is a typical Nolamba 9th century temple, which is the Dravida style, and very important, very beautifully carved temple there. So I'll come back to the Bangalore now. Bangalore has a these two, Begur and Nandi, they are very important to understand how the architecture was growing there and how it was important there. Bangalore is also, interestingly, it's a huge fort is there. Once it was fortified by the thick walls. Now the only remnants are remained. The 16th century, according to the inscriptions and various available sources, it was built by Kepegoda, and it was re-strengthened and later by Chikadevaraja Vadiyar and then Hyder Ali and Tipu Sultan. So this is the one of the old map of the Bangalore, British map, 1791 map of Bangalore, which is available in the in England. So it showed that there was a Peta and the fort and Peta. Pete means basically Chikpete, Dodpete, those area, and the fort is the present Koti area, that is the palace, Tipu Palace area. So this old map help us to understand how the landscape is there, surrounded by so many the tanks are there. So this is the one which is a very interesting. This is the nearby Abbas Khan College only. Once the 1791 there was a battle against British against the Tipu's army. British Cornwallis led the battle, and he attacked the Bangalore city. That's near Alsur, where the Abbas Khan College is nearby. And it was the battle of the 1791 in the month of March. So British Army, several officers they die in this incident, and immediately there was a setback to the British, and they had to hold some time back. Then this was a incident. It is recorded in the British records, as well as the the history of Bangalore also. So this is the painting of the one of the British artist who captured the event in his art, and he has reproduced this one. So this is important for the Bangalore history. Second one is this is the same Alsur Gate, where the Abbas College is there. This is after the battle. So this sketch by one of the British officer, Robert Home, he has made this description of this gate. So another one is this is also from British Army, but it's much later. But this to show that how they were attacking the Bangalore. So these are old drawings of the Bangalore, which very rarely found, not easily found in anywhere. So it was difficult to get those things. So this is is to show that Cornwallis is leading, is directing the army to attack on Bangalore. So this is the rough sketch of Pete, Bangalore Pete. This is by the Fazlul Hassan. In his book, he has made a draft of this. So I'm just showing that one. So this is the old postcard of city of Bangalore. Chickpete area, still you can see the Chickpete area, double-story houses and the streets with the coconut trees, which is an old photograph of the Avenue Road from 1900 onwards. Those. So Avenue Road basically is a part of the old Bangalore. That is old name was the Avenue Road name was the Dodpete, or Chandra, Surabidi. They used to call Surabidi area. So then became a Avenue Road later period. So this is how Avenue Road was looked once it was like this. Second one is this one is the temple where the near the Avenue Road called OTC Road, old Talka Kacheri Road. There is a temple called Ranganatha Swami Temple. So Ranganatha Swami Temple has the inscription of Kempegoda, second Kempegoda. It mentions about the grants to the temple by the merchants. So this temple is belong to the Kempegoda period. Interestingly, is similar to the Vijayanagara temples of Hampi. Same pattern, the temple has been built here. So that's how very important for us to look at. This is another photo of the old photo, 1940s photo of the Avenue Road, old Bangalore. This is the beginning of the Avenue Road from the market. From market, when you enter the Avenue Road, you can just see there are chapel stands are there. You might have seen this. Still the central building, double-story building still existed there. Still anybody can see them, but the very overcrowded nowadays. Earlier it was less crowded. You can see Avenue Road from the market, entering from the market. So this is a place where near to the Corporation Circle. This is called Senatop. Earlier they used to call Senatop. British, those who fought against the British Triple Army in 1791 in the near the Alsur Gate. Those who died, British officer died, they were buried next to that. Now Hudson Circle is there. That is a place. So people. Hello. Hello. Okay. Oh, should I close the? Hello. Hello. Okay, only 10 minutes I will be. Hello,
Yes, sir.
hello.
You are audible, sir.
Okay, how many minutes I have, madam?
Sir, 10 more minutes.
Okay,
It's a
okay.
1 hour session.
Okay, okay, madam. Okay. You
Yeah.
just stop me when I supposed to stop, madam. Okay, madam.
Okay, sir.
Okay. So this is Hudson Circle Senate of they used to call. Imagine this. Now there is no Senate of, only circle is there. Kempegoda statue is there nearby. So this is the place, Hudson Circle, Hudson Church and Senator. Just to show the Bangalore fort remains now like this. This is the old photograph of Bangalore fort. This is another old photograph of Bangalore. And now present Bangalore's fort is like this. Uh, if you look at the inside the fort, everybody think this is the entire fort. No, actually the only the gate of the one of the small gate of the, it's called Delhi Gate. The Delhi Gate had a 5 entrances. Only 2 entrances are visible now. Others are they have already they have erased them. So this is just to show that the old photograph, old drawing by James Hunter, same angle the photography is taken there. You can just see similarity between them. Just to see the old photograph of Bangalore Fort. This is the present, KR Market is there, and this is the Avenue Road, beginning of the Avenue Road, and bus stand, present bus stand is there, KR Market bus stand is there, the fort is there. So these old photographs will tell us, because many monuments have been already, we have modified or renovated, or sometimes they have encroached. Since those are not available, these are the old documents will tell us to understand the city, how it was, and what kind of buildings were built, and what was the symbolism, how they were looked, how they were used. These can be only traced based on the available, this old photograph and drawings in there. So that's what I wanted to just show you, all of you. So with this, I'll end up my lecture. So basically, just to show that how the subject of history is more relevant, particularly like Bangalore, because we have very less information about the history of Bangalore. We have to trace the history with the whatever available now present, because high number of migrations are there. There is a drastic urban changes taking place. Large area is coming under the constructions. Hence, we are losing day by day our old monuments and structures. Our spaces have been encroached. So the history is very important for history of Bangalore. Those who wants to study, they have to depend on the whatever available sources are there. So with this, I end my lecture here. So once again, I thank the organizers for making me to participate in this program. So once again, I thank all of you. Thank you all the participants. Thank you very much. Over to Madam.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. It was great hearing to you, sir.
Thank you, Madam.
So thank you for showing us the old pictures of the Bangalore, how it was. So thank you, sir, for deliberating on the topic. So we have come to the end of the session. Anybody, any of the participants have any questions, you can ask. Participants. So we'll come to the end of the session. So I request Ms. Hajira Sultana, Lecturer, Department of Commerce and Management, to propose vote of thanks for today's session.
Good afternoon, everyone. I consider it's a great privilege to have been asked to extend a vote of thanks on this wonderful event. First and foremost, on behalf of our institution, on my own behalf, I would like to thank our esteemed resource person, Dr. S.K. Arun. Thank you, sir, for your enlightening speech. The session was very informative. With a deep sense of gratitude, I would like to thank our principal, Professor Zubeda Begum, being the catalyst that inspired us to do our best. My sincere thanks to Dr. M.S. Vidya, IQAC coordinator, for her constant support and guidance. Thank you, ma'am. I also wish to express my gratitude to Dr. Saida Tabassum, Staff Secretary, HOD of Department and IQAC Assistant Coordinator, for her constant support and encouragement. Thank you, ma'am. I would like to thank Ms. Noor Aisha, IQAC Deputy Coordinator, and all the HODs and my colleagues for the participants in today's event. Last but not the least, I thank all the participants for making today's event a success. Thank you.
So thank you, participants. Thank you, sir. I request all the participants to please join tomorrow at the same time, 2:30. We are at the last day of the FDP program session, and feedback link will be given only at the end of the valedictory note of the tomorrow's session. So thank you, sir.
Thank you.
Thank you for deliberating
Thank you.
us. Thank you. Thank you for joining. Thank you, participants.